Very good, very good.
Fine. When you keep positive, all is fine.
Okay. So namaste, Sudha ma'am, and welcome to the
Namaste. Namaste,
InspireX
Jerry.
conversation. We are live on Facebook now, and it's a privilege and honor to have you with us on the InspireX conversation,
Thank
Inspire
you.
Experience conversation that we have
Thank you.
every Monday with our Karmavir Puraskar and Karmavir Puraskar Maharatna award recipients and our ex-Karmavir Global Fellows like you. So it's been a great journey to have you as a part of the Rex Karmavir Global Mission for many years now. From the time I
Yes.
first met you, which I think was in 2009, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, a long time back.
Yes, where you had attended a fundraising workshop with me.
Yes, yes.
That was in Delhi, or was it in Bombay?
In Delhi. It was
In
in
Delhi.
Delhi in some youth
Right,
hostel or
in
something.
the International Youth Center.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, I think
It
that was
was there.
that was 2007 or 2008.
Yeah, I think it
Was
was before 2009,
She was
yeah,
definitely.
yeah,
trying to
Yeah.
remember the year
right.
the other day when we were talking.
So it's yeah,
Yeah.
So
almost.
whenever I think of Jerry and I talk to Jerry, it's like, my dear Jerry.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Almost 14 years now. It's been a
Yeah.
privilege knowing you and about all the good work that you do in the field of supporting, enabling, empowering cancer survivors and providing relief, health, and support to them. I think it's amazing and very inspiring, awe-inspiring work, in fact. And we are privileged to have you as our Rex Karmovir Global Fellow.
Thank you, Jerry.
And
Thank you.
so the format of the conversation, as you know, is for the next 45 minutes or so. Itu would have a free-spirited conversation with you, cool, casual conversation about your work, about your journey, and then finally, in the last 15 minutes or so, I would join in again to kind of provoke some thoughts with some thought-provoking, you know, uh, jibes or punches or whatever it is. So that's what provoking thought more about for people and not just for you, about what we need to do to kind of address cancer and healthcare issues overall. Depending on how the conversation with Itu goes, we'll figure out what are the thought-provoking questions I should ask you in the end. So over to you, Itu, and I become a fly on the wall as usual. And all the best, Sudhaji. Take care.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, Jerry. Thank you, Jerry. Namaste once again, Sudhaji,
Namaste.
and welcome to Rex Inspire Experience that we have every Monday. And you are one of our Rex Karamveer Maharatna of the cohort of 2000 and of 2019 season 11, and we're looking so forward to hear all the inspiring work that you have been doing, all the wonderful things that you have been doing, and you've been such an inspiration for all of us at Rex Karamveer and for so many people in the world. So, Sudhaji, I would like to start by asking you to share with us that how did your social development work journey began, because you worked in areas of women empowerment, of childcare, of health, of animal welfare, and so many of all of that. Tell us about it.
My journey began more or less, I would say, in 1980, the year 1980. And when my husband, who was in the army, got posted to Delhi, I was delighted that we are out of an army regiment, because there I could not do the social work I so much wanted to do. And there were a lot of restrictions. So when I came to Delhi, I felt now I'm free. I can do whatever, wherever I want to work. And I wanted to always work for the cancer patients. Somehow that was there in my mind always. So I told my husband, this is what I want to do. So he says, as long as you go out of the house after the children go to school and come back before the children come back from school, then I'll allow you to go. So that it was, the routine was set for that. And in 1980, I joined an organization called Cancer Patients Aid Association, CPAA. And that was my
Mm-hmm.
learning ground. That's where I learned more of social work. And
Mm-hmm.
it was, you see, my office was in IRCH, International Rotary Cancer Hospital. We were given a room there, a desk and a little locker, and
Mm-hmm.
one desk and two chairs. And that's how we began.
Mm-hmm.
And we were given 500 rupees to begin our journey and to carry on with that and build up more funds slowly, slowly. So that's how.
Right, right.
And in the beginning, there were very few cancer patients who used to come because it was a new hospital,
Hmm,
as well as
hmm.
I don't think there was so much of awareness at that time about cancer. So there used to be
Right,
few people
right.
coming. And it was very disturbing in the sense that at that time we did not have oncologists. The doctors,
Hmm,
they used to treat the patients, and the
hmm,
oncologists came much later. But I'm proud to
hmm.
say we have the finest oncologists in the world now in India. And
Right, right.
then it was, it was very sad to see that today I've seen a child and I come tomorrow or day after to the hospital and
Hmm.
the child is not there. The child is
Right.
expired. So
Hmm,
I worked for about 8 years like that, and then I got a burnout. And
hmm,
because I'm basically very sensitive person, but after the burnout, I left for a little while. Then I
hmm,
rejoined again. And in the meantime, I was working with the Linus Club and all these, doing all projects for them, like the
hmm,
measles vaccination and so many other projects, going into the villages, helping the women. And mostly I
hmm.
always try to empower them instead of making them dependent on us. We should empower them so that they can take care of
True,
themselves. And they did little
true.
workshops and all for them. And I always felt it best to go into a village instead of giving
Right.
lectures, calling them to a particular point, and going into the villages, and you really know what
Yeah,
their problems are once you're in the villages. So that's how my journey began.
yeah.
And slowly, from CPA, for many years, I worked with CPA. That was the best part of my
Hmm,
working life. And
hmm,
then I felt there was a
hmm,
saturation point, and then I wanted to do a little more
hmm,
in cancer. So I was a director for Roco Cancer, where they had awareness as well as early detection, and they had about 7, 8 vans, and we used to go all over uh,
yeah.
Delhi and other parts of India with our vans into the villages right
So
at
that,
the doorstep of the people, and get the women
yeah,
out and we had a mammography
yeah.
machine in the buses, and an X-ray unit also, and that's how we began. And of course, it was very tough in the
Hmm,
beginning in the villages, and especially in Punjab when we got the women. We managed to get them out of their
hmm,
homes, and we got them into the van and then
hmm,
closed the door of the van. You have to close the door. And the husbands got very
hmm.
angry that where these women are going and they're closing the door and our wife is inside. So slowly, then we had
Yeah.
to, please the men. And we started doing tests for the men also. And, general blood
So that,
tests. And
um,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So, Ji, I wanted to, ask you that, you said you started when you came to Delhi, and, the army life, you keep moving like a nomad from one place to the other every 2 3 years, but you had passion for what you really wanted to do, to give back to the society. And you kept doing that. You found your passion and you kept going with your passion. And in Rex Karamveer, we started, and we've coined another word which is called the missionary passiopreneur, which really means that when you have a
Ascertain,
mission,
okay.
and your passio comes from the Latin word called passion. The Latin word is passio, which really means enduring and going through the mill and the drill, suffering for what you love and doing. And I'm sure that the journey that you started in 1980, it mustn't have been easy. And that's where you said you had the burnout. I would like to know about the burnout part, because then we'll talk about other things that made you come back, because you had to reinvent and recreate, work around your passion, because you knew that this is what your mission is in life. I want to know about the burnout part, because this is something that happens with everyone, especially when you're working on such a sensitive issue, a taboo issue, something that the needs a lot of sensibility of the mind and the emotions to work with, along with, of course, going through what is happening in your body.
You see, if I had started this work now, a couple of years later,
Hmm,
I may not have had a burnout.
hmm,
But at that time, when we did not
hmm,
have enough of
hmm,
doctors, we did not have
hmm,
oncologists, and even when chemotherapy was being given, there were those young resident doctors, and they had their duty hours. Very often it happened that they started the chemo, and when it was time for them to go, they would go away. And then, we'd sometimes
Right.
have to rush and get the sister and tell her now, how to continue with it. So it was not, they did not know how to handle this disease initially. It was,
Right.
so
Right.
that is why, when we saw these people dying, and we saw a lot of people not knowing what the disease is, going the wrong side,
Yeah.
and they would go back to quackery and
Right.
things like that. So that
Right.
is how the burnout happened. And mostly, when people you've looked after, and they suddenly, you find out they're no more. And I'm a hypersensitive person. It was
Yeah.
actually very difficult for me. But once I went back home, then I made up my mind, and I said, no, now I have to go back and I have to continue with the work. So that's how it happened. And I was a stronger person by the end of it.
Yeah. Yeah. So, so that you not only working with the cancer patient, you also went into the depth of your work. That is to bring awareness, counseling, patient care, and all of that. And you also paved path for more of awareness to bring into
Yes.
society, people, family, how to deal with all these areas. So tell us about that and how important it is to bring awareness into this whole um, disease, which is also very difficult emotionally, spiritually, mentally.
Yes.
It takes a
Yes.
lot of
Oh,
toll on
yes.
your mind. So mentally it's very difficult to deal with it. Tell us about that. And you already say that it was having an effect on you, so imagine the kind of work that the patients need or the family needs.
You see, it was too early at that point of time, and slowly, slowly,
Hmm,
after it caught up very fast. After a couple of years, things were much better.
hmm,
And
hmm.
uh, could you just tell me what else you had asked, Itu?
So I'd ask you how it was when you started doing counseling and awareness, and the
Yeah.
patient care, all that awareness and patient care
Awareness
and all that,
awareness is
and
very,
especially the
very
mental
important.
health.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, the mental health around the cancer disease.
So we slowly realized that, unless there is awareness, we cannot have any, we cannot stop the disease, or, get less cancer
Hmm,
patients, because awareness is like
hmm.
prevention only. And
True.
people did not know what cancer is. Moment anybody said cancer, it was like a death sentence. And there was,
Hmm,
lot of uh, people were running from pillar to post, not knowing what to do. And so we
hmm,
created awareness, and we had, now, especially when I joined Roku Cancer, and that was put a lot
hmm,
of stress on awareness and early detection. And then we used to catch the cases young and not leave them in
hmm.
the lurch. We used to guide them into the
Right.
hospitals, and they would go there. We saw to it that they got the proper treatment. So slowly, slowly, things have changed.
Hmm,
Of course, when I used to go to the wards in AIMS, very often you came across a child or an adult on the last stages, on the deathbed mostly,
right.
and one did not know
Right.
what to do, how to react. You can't tell them, oh, you can't console them when you know they are dying, and they also know they are dying. So the all I could do was, and my colleagues could, we used to sit with them. Sometimes, very often I used to read the Gayatri mantra slowly, slowly, and hold their hand. And it
Hmm,
was very, very
hmm,
difficult, but one got over it slowly, slowly. It was very difficult. It's still very difficult. I used to also go to Shanti Avedna Ashram, which is for the cases which are, when the doctors say we cannot look after this patient anymore, it's about to,
hmm,
not, the life is about to finish. So I used to go there also a lot, and sit with
hmm,
the patients, hold their hands, ask them what are their last wishes. And it used to give me a lot of satisfaction to fulfill their last wishes. There was a lady who wanted to see Kiran Bedi. She said, my last wish is that I want to see Kiran Bedi. So we
hmm,
contacted her, and she was very sweet. She said, of course, I'll definitely come. And on Rose Day, we called Kiran Bedi, and she went to each and every bed, gave them a rose, talked to them. And we took a photographer along. He took pictures, and there was this one lady who specifically asked us to call her, and she, put the rose under her pillow. And after about a week or 10 days, I got a message that, she wants, please come soon. She wants to meet you. She's going. So I did manage to reach as fast as possible, but I couldn't manage. Just a few minutes I missed it, and I was so miserable because of that. So there are so many patients like that, who also, when they see that somebody's got compassion and empathy for them, they empathize with them. So they do want to see us time and again. And I used to make it a point. It was difficult, but I became strong enough, and I used to go and sit with them. I used to help them. I used to try and fulfill their last wishes. It was all very often through my organization.
So that you just now spoke about empathy and compassion, because we all know that death is inevitable. It's the
Yeah,
truth of life.
yeah.
And but you also seeing it, facing it, and looking at it in that manner is very, very tough and difficult. So you talk about empathy and compassion. I think that's what the world needs more, not just otherwise, for when one is not well, one is not going through. So
As
what is your take
important
on
as the
that?
cure,
So
as important as the cure, as the
absolutely, absolutely.
and
Yeah. So Sudhaji,
somehow
you
I've
were also,
yes, yes, carry on.
go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
Somehow I've been blessed with this feeling. I'm a very compassionate person, and I feel for everyone, and I'm ready to. For me, it is service before self. I'm ready to do anything for them. I think about myself later. So now in this modern world today, it is service before self is now outdated. It is self before
Yeah,
service. And certain ways it's
yeah,
correct. Unless you are yourself healthy and you are in good spirits and health, how can you treat
yeah.
someone? How can you help someone else?
True,
So we have
true.
to make ourselves strong first. So it has a different meaning now. But all the same, for me, always a person whom I have to help comes first. I don't think about myself then. And I now realize how these patients feel, and, about their emotional state and all after I myself got cancer. So I was quite
Yeah.
shocked, when it was the doctor told me that you, ma'am, sorry, but you have also got cancer. So for a moment I
Tell
was
us about
really
it, because I think
shattered.
you
But
were working in that area, and
yeah,
you've experienced the issue yourself,
yes,
cancer yourself. And tell us about
yes.
your personal journey as well, Sudhaji.
You see, I was in the habit of, since I used to put a lot of stress on early detection, and I
Hmm.
used to teach us to also teach the ladies how to do self-examination and things like that. And when
Hmm.
there is even a slightest doubt, just go to the doctor or contact us, the
Hmm.
social workers. So
Right.
I was in the habit of doing self-examination, and that's what saved me. And I
Hmm.
found quite, on time that something was wrong. And for many days, I was having lack of appetite. I used to feel very, very exhausted, very tired. And
Hmm.
since I'm a workaholic, I thought it's probably due to, overwork or overstrain or something. I didn't give
Hmm.
it so
Hmm.
much of attention. But when I
Hmm.
saw a little growth on my breast, that's the time
Hmm.
I got alarmed,
Hmm.
and I went immediately to the doctor.
Hmm.
And the doctor, knowing me,
Hmm.
was very concerned about me. And he said, ma'am, you are not going home till I finish all the tests and till I tell you what is the next
Hmm.
step. Anyway, they examined
Hmm.
me. The mammography did not, two mammographies I did, two mammograms did not show cancer. And then
Okay.
since he was not he wanted me to go back home satisfied and not worried, so he said, okay, now
Hmm.
we'll do ultrasound. So when they did the ultrasound, it was very visible, and then there and
Hmm.
then the biopsy was done. And
Hmm.
after about a week or
To
so, I
know
was
the
told, yeah, I was told that
yeah, yeah.
it has come positive. And then whole battery of tests and whatnot before we could start the treatment. And I was building myself in the meantime, trying to strengthen myself, and whether it was physically or mentally or emotionally. So I think God was with me, and I surrendered myself totally to God. I said, I'm your child. I've surrendered myself to you. Now do what you want. I accept. With all humility, I accept. And I was not so worried because, I'd finished whatever I had to sort of in life. My children were settled. They were married. I was, so it's all okay. And it doesn't matter. Time to go. And husband also he expired. And I always wanted, that I go and join him soon. And so I was not worried as such. And I kept myself positive. Positivity plays a big role. I never cried in front of my children. I never broke down in front of anyone else. I didn't want them to
Hmm.
be more worried. So of course the treatment is painful, the long treatment. It went along, and I
Yeah.
had my daughters by my side all the time. My elder daughter, who lives in Delhi, was with me always. She never left me alone at all. And you see, that's how you get all the strength. It comes from the
Yeah.
people who love you. All the strength comes from them.
So Sudhaji, what is that one thing that you would say really really played a role in your coming out of the disease, and feeling triumph at the end of it? Because a lot of people are not so lucky to get cured, and it's also a problem, a disease where people have a lot of issue in the mind. So they say it's like 50% in the mind also, and mind plays a very very major role. So tell us something, what really worked for you? Because I personally have experienced it with my sister,
Mm.
who's older than me by a year and a half. But so she was very young and she had it. um, there are some things that I've seen across the board that what really really helps. But I would like to hear from you as well. What is it that really sailed you through?
First, I promised myself that I will not stop smiling. The smile will always be there on my face. And I
Beautiful.
managed to do that. And
Yeah.
there is a lot of strength which came. I don't know from where it came in me. And all the
Mm,
positivity and strength. And when I was going through chemo, I used to be listening to music. I love music. And I had the
right.
earphones on all the time, and I listened to all my
Yeah.
favorite songs and tried to distract myself from the chemo. It is not so painful now as it used to be. And also
Mm,
in between, my daughter would ask me, what do you want to eat? Something from the in the hospital they had their South Indian food and they had the Chinese food. So she used to tempt me with all that because I was not hungry at
yeah.
all. And
Yeah.
the very fact children were there, I used to get up very often and go to the other beds also whenever I could. I would go
Right.
and see how they
Right.
are and if I can be of any help to them. There used to be some children
Yeah.
crying that was really heart wrenching for me. Little kids with the chemo and the mothers, holding them in their laps. So that's how
Mm,
I I was. I think I was very strong. Became very strong,
yeah. Yeah.
and I still wanted
Yeah.
to help. I still wanted to do whatever I could. So as I said, I didn't think
Yeah.
so much about myself as I thought about even my caregivers. I thought about them, that they are around me all the time, and the time for them, they don't get time for their own selves or whatever. But my caregivers were my strength.
Yeah. So Sudhaji, you put it so beautifully that when you really 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 get the joy when you give. And
Oh
research
yes,
says that when you're
certainly. I'm
giving
very
out.
selfish. I want to give because I get the joy. That's what I
Yes,
take it
and
like
and
that,
it's
that I'm
really,
very selfish.
yeah, but that's a good selfishness, and I wish the whole world was like that. More people were like that. And when you're spreading the joy of giving, or when you're spreading this joy, or helping out people, or concerned about people, empathy that you're showing, even when you are in distress, when you're going through your absolutely vulnerable, low down phase, and that's when you kind of persevere and kind of get out of it, because you are always giving out gratitude and helping out others. And I know my sister had started doing the same. She started going and she started taking food for other patients, or for the doctors she would get food for. um, I started making hats for some of the people, so many
Yeah,
many
the
things she
chemo
started to
for
doing. And
chemotherapy people, when they lose all their hair.
yeah,
Yeah, then.
Yeah, and the
Well,
hospital that
yeah.
she was admitted and working for, took her on as a part of their own organization to help out people, for counseling and things like that. So that's the way I think, that's the only way to deal with it, because life throws challenges on all of
Oh
us. There
yes.
may
Oh
be
yes.
different challenges that they throw on each of us, but life throws challenges, and I think those challenges are to be lapped up, to see them as learning and move forward, because nothing stops. And brave people, courageous people like you, then leave inspirational footprints for others to imbue from.
I always feel that I've been a winner in life. I've faced many, many hardships and challenges, and I've come out as a winner.
Mm,
So then I tell myself that
mm.
winners cannot be quitters. Don't quit.
True,
Keep carrying on. Keep
true.
persevering. That's
Yeah.
how I
The
think.
idea
That's
is to, yeah, the idea is to stay in the war
yes, absolutely.
till you win that war, and it's an internal war, and we all go through those internal wars
Yeah,
every day.
it is a tough war, very tough war, but
So
of
Sudhaji,
course.
with your cancer charitable trust, you've also started doing, you've started doing work which is going international now. Tell us about that.
At present, I'm the president of an apex body which works for awareness of
Right,
cancer. And, in
right.
the Indian subcontinent and some of the countries around, like Maldives and
Hmm,
Bangladesh and these 4, 5
hmm,
countries. And we are trying to reach
hmm,
out even further now. And I think so that
hmm,
this this organization is working very hard
hmm,
for awareness, for creating awareness.
hmm.
And we have a large force of NCC cadets also who are joined with us since 2003.
Lovely.
And and
Right,
we have these awareness talks and all around with the NCC cadets in Delhi when they come for the Republic Day parade. Then we go down and there are
right,
doctors who talk to them. And we have very good doctors on board with us and very good caregivers,
right.
volunteers. And this is a large group whom we address for awareness
Hmm,
around
hmm,
Republic Day, the NCC cadets.
hmm,
So it's, they're all
hmm.
young. They're from the age of, say, 13 to 23, 22, these young children. And
Right,
talking to them and, telling them the importance of awareness, telling them things like anti-smoking, not to smoke, what all alcohol, the, alcohol and smoking are very, very dangerous for health. And they cause cancer. There's
right.
I do no one can deny that smoking and alcohol
Hmm,
do cause cancer. And we
hmm,
try to, we have quizzes for them, we have little programs for them.
hmm,
So we go on with our awareness
hmm,
programs, try to put something in, interesting enough for the children to hold
hmm.
and
Right.
go ahead.
Yeah.
Can you
Sudhaji, I've
hear me?
lost your.
It looks
I
like,
can
yeah.
hear you, but I've lost your. I
One
can't
sec.
see you, Sudhaji.
One second. One second. Let me.
It's okay.
Mani, there's no battery on your phone. Come quickly. She can't see me. Okay, here's a power bank. 1 second, Itu. I'm just.
Yeah, it's okay.
What is it? iPhone or which one is it?
Yeah,
Huh?
it's an iPhone.
iPhone. Which one is it? 10 or which one?
It's 11.
11.
I've got you back, Sudhaji. Yeah, I can see you now.
Yeah,
We'll
thank
continue.
you.
We'll
Yeah,
continue.
yeah.
Yes, Sudhaji.
Those.
You were talking about the awareness with the cadets, NCC cadets, and all of that. You were telling us about that.
You see, we have this when we have all these cadets and all with us. We are at one go. We are addressing so many children, and we tell them that when you
Hmm,
go home, each one talk to your
hmm,
family, talk to your friends, and we expect that one child's awareness should reach on to 10 other people. So we try and
Right.
tell them to do that. And the children are very receptive, and they come and tell us stories about what happens home and how their father smokes and how they have these issues. And I had the largest awareness gathering was in Manipur. We went to. We've been to Northeast, so we'd gone to Manipur, and there is a place there called Churchandpur, and there were
Yes.
people like about 2 to 3,000 people in one gathering, whom we addressed for
Right.
awareness. And the health minister of Manipur was also present there. And I suppose they managed to get
Right.
all these people there. And, it's so pathetic in Northeast. It's very bad. We met children like,
Right.
13-year-old girls who had cancer in the mouth
Hmm.
because they were
Right.
they have this tobacco water, which they call. And
Yes.
they soak the tobacco in water overnight or
Yeah.
something, and then
Yeah.
they drink that. So they learnt it from their grandmothers and mothers.
Right.
So this was like a
Yeah.
tradition there.
Yeah.
The grandmother would have it, the mother would have it. Now these young girls, and it was so
Yeah.
pathetic to see them, what they were
Beetle.
going through.
Beetle. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
in the Northeast, there were many young people who were afflicted by it, and there was total lack of
Hmm.
awareness. And
Hmm.
those are the places I tried to, we tried to concentrate on.
Yeah.
In the Northeast, we went to Guwahati. In Guwahati, there are many more organizations also. It's a big place. A lot of work is being done for cancer in Guwahati. And from our CACI also, we have groups who are working in Guwahati, and they are doing excellent work. And we have an NGO there, a whole lot of NGOs actually, a couple of them are there, and very good work is being done. So much so that they have made the dharamshalas for the children when they come for
Hmm.
treatment from these places around, and
Hmm.
they come and stay there. They're taken care of. They're given
Hmm.
food, which is at a very, very cheap rate, and taken to the hospital. Treatment is done. So Northeast is now going
Yeah.
towards more awareness and more treatment. Good doctors, very good doctors.
Awareness is very, very important also, Sudhaji, because I also read few, research papers and things like that when we were going through as a family, that
Yeah.
our bodies as women are so, I wouldn't say delicate, but so sensitive to the changes that are happening around us, be it in the environment, be it the vegetables and fruits that are now grown chemically, or the chemicals in water, or the chemicals that are so much present in our food chain, and that all
Yes,
has a
yes,
lot of effect on women. And
yes.
the awareness about food as therapy, or food, or generally how to avoid, prevent this disease, or prevention of cancer for women, because our bodies are so delicate. We may be very resilient, but they are delicate to the changes that are happening in the ecosystem, and that's really, really bothers. So awareness is very, very important, and you have been working
Yeah.
very hard towards prevention through awareness.
Yes, through
How do
awareness,
you
yeah.
bring awareness? Yeah, yeah,
That's where
tell us about that
we have
more.
to put a lot of stress on awareness so that the cancer is
Hmm.
prevented. And
Yeah, yeah.
uh, what else?
So tell me, Sudhaji, in the how you, according to you, you've been to
You
so
see,
many places
these
around. Hmm.
these women are, or anyone for that matter, during awareness, we put a
Hmm.
lot of stress on the lifestyle, because we have a very faulty lifestyle
True,
these days. So that is one of the
true,
main
true.
causes, main reasons for having cancer.
Right,
So, and plus,
right,
the women here in villages and all, especially, they have
right,
very poor hygiene. And that is the base from
right,
where all these problems begin. And due to lack of water or
right,
lack of awareness of so many reasons. So these women are also,
right.
we have awareness separately for the women, and we tell them, and we also teach them self-examination. You see anything unusual on the
Hmm.
body, to report it at once. And especially in
Right,
cases of breast cancer, If it's detected on time, a life
True.
can be saved. Otherwise, if it's
True.
delayed, then we lose a life. A precious life is lost. A mother,
Hmm.
a daughter, a sister. And we
Hmm.
have to also, tell them what are the things they have to look out for. What are the signs they have to look out for, so that
Right. Right.
they go to the doctor before it's too late, because time is of
Yeah.
crucial importance in the treatment of cancer.
True.
The later you go, the
True. Would
less
you
the
share some of
chances.
these things that people should look out for?
Yeah,
Because
definitely.
even with the educated class, the real awareness is not there. We seem to think that we know, but we really don't know.
No, we don't know. We know very few, periphery sort of things. Now,
Yeah.
when I talk
Right.
about awareness to the group I talk to, I tell them to remember this
Hmm.
word SAD, sad,
Hmm.
in which S is for the stress in life. And stress
Right.
causes cancer, and we have to avoid
Yeah.
stress and use techniques, different techniques, to avoid
Hmm.
the stress. And then we have
True.
uh, for A is for alcohol and for smoking. Remember to abstain from these two. They will definitely cause cancer. There is no two ways about it. And then the diet, to have a healthy diet, to avoid fast foods and to eat organic food, to have fresh vegetables, clean food. On the diet, there are so many other things also which one has to, it's a subject by itself. And the diet is very, very important to lead a healthy lifestyle. And stress free life is very important. I think I got cancer. One of the main reasons was I had a lot of stress. And I know of so many other people also who, because of stress, have also
I
had
agree. I
cancer.
agree.
So we
Stress.
have to
Yeah.
teach the people, how to have a stress-free life, which of course the stress we cannot remove, in the sense that they're all personal, family stresses, whatever it is. But at least, that the certain ways, like doing meditation regularly, like spiritually, being a little more aware, and read more about cancer, do yoga, do exercises regularly. And that's how, you go about it. And uh, I was always told by my doctor that stress-free life and a healthy lifestyle is very important. We have no regular timings for food. We eat whatever we get. We are not bothered what it is. And it is very, very important that you have a healthy diet which has balance of vitamins, minerals, calcium, all a very healthy diet,
Yeah.
which most of us, it's very
Yeah.
easy to say, but many of us cannot afford it also. That
True.
type
True.
of
True.
a
And I
diet.
think
Yes.
the constant companion of modern man is stress, and we
Stress,
need
yes,
to
yes.
circumvent around it so much every
Absolutely.
day. We need to.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think the most beautiful way of de-stressing yourself is to give back to the society, give back to the world, do something for others, make the world a little better,
Yes,
create a
absolutely.
legacy. All
Yes.
the things that we
Yes.
talk at Rex, and we've seen, and research proves that by giving and doing something for others, you gather so much for yourself, you gain so much for yourself, and that's how it is. Sudhaji, I'd like to ask you that you were on the advisory board of World CSR. What is it all about? Tell me more about that part as well.
Yes, I was on the advisory board of the World CSR, but unfortunately, I could not attend their meetings because of, my sickness
Right.
and things like that.
Hmm, hmm,
So
hmm.
I don't want to just tell you things which have not experienced there.
That's perfectly. That's the beauty of being truthful and honest, because it makes it so wonderful to know that you have the not just the tenacity of character, you also have the righteousness of character to say, yes, I didn't do that. I wanted to do that. I was part of it, but I didn't do it. Sudhaji, I'd like to know from you. Right now, COVID pandemic has taken over everything. we are hostage on
Yes,
to
yes.
everything, and we are all cooped up and trying to avoid and trying to find a new normal. But there is another big pandemic which has been looming large, which is mental health. And I'd like you to tell us, before I call Jerry back into the conversation, that how grit, tenaciousness, and you know, how is it very important to get through all of this, and how also in the area of your work this has really worked. What is your take on all of these things? Mental health, COVID times, how things
You
are
see, we
so.
at Cancer Care India, we have done a lot of work with, the COVID and the cancer patients, because one does not realize which is more important. It's very difficult to say. Now, when a cancer patient, when the COVID patient overtakes, the COVID disease overtakes cancer, and the hospitals are shut, only
Right,
COVID patients will go there. And even you're afraid of going
right,
into these hospitals for,
right.
most of the people who go to the hospitals do get some sort of an infection. So
True.
it was very difficult for us to, decide which is better, which is,
Hmm,
to be task has to be done first. But we
hmm,
took a lot of care of the patients, those who had to go to the doctors.
hmm,
So our
hmm,
volunteers, especially, in Bhubaneswar and these areas, we have an NGO there, and they are doing
hmm,
excellent work on this. And there were lots of COVID patients, and they managed for them to get ambulances to go safely into a
hmm,
hospital where they
hmm,
can be treated, only the cancer patients to go safely into hospital where there are no COVID patients, or where there's a
right,
separate area for
yeah,
them. And it's a very tough decision. You cannot leave cancer patient to die, and say, oh, we cannot
true,
take him to the COVID hospital. So we
true.
tried various means, sometimes, to go into the small clinics to get their chemo done, or there were some very good doctors who come and help at home also to get the chemo done.
Okay.
So it was handled by CSCI very well in different places. The COVID, that
Yeah.
the cancer patients did not suffer because of COVID. And I think our
It's really
members, our
heartwarming to
volunteers did tremendous
know.
work on that. And uh, things are now much better, much more organized in the hospitals also. It suddenly took us by surprise. And all
Yeah.
over, all our member groups in all the stations, like Bihar, all these places, they all took full care, whatever they could from their side. They took care of the cancer patients and their treatment, not to be stopped as far as possible. Somewhere the dates
Yeah.
were changed, somewhere the doctors were changed. But by and large, the doctors were very, very cooperative, extremely cooperative when it came to a cancer patient.
Yeah. Ironically, in COVID times, things that were very important became not important, and things that were not important became important. And
Yes.
we had to choose time and again, as a human race, empathy over anything else, and try and be there for everyone. But these are the difficult times that we're sitting on. But I'm
Yes.
so glad to know that work has been going on in this sphere, and you have been doing such a lot of work, keeping all these
All,
hardships in mind,
yes. All
COVID
my
hardships.
member groups have worked very hard. All the member groups, about 50 of them,
True.
they have worked very hard in their own
Right.
areas. And they've done tremendous good
Right.
work. It's really been
That's right.
service before self when it came to that. But it's so difficult. Some of them were, the young people got so enthusiastic about helping that I had to time and again tell them to be careful, so that
Hmm.
they don't get exposed to COVID, and in their
Hmm.
enthusiasm they don't get the disease, which will be very hard for
Right.
anyone to tackle later. So they had to be,
True.
literally, in some areas they had to be stopped. Their enthusiasm was so much, and their will to help, their desire to help was so great. So this is the
Yeah.
beauty of Cancer Care India, that our volunteers and our member groups, they work very hard towards whatever might be the uh, case. They always work very hard, and they try to get the maximum out of it for the patients.
Yeah, as I was talking to you earlier, that volunteering, we at Rex also talk very, very strongly about, because it not just helps the world, because world needs more volunteers. World needs people to just give without wanting back something. Because when you're giving and when you're volunteering, it's a leadership lesson, and it's a beautiful lesson to learn for yourself. You're learning so much while you're volunteering, and of course, helping
Yes.
the world to become a better place. On that note, I'm going to invite Jerry back into the conversation to draw some insights and ask you some thought provoking questions as well.
Okay, thank you, Itu.
Yeah, we're waiting for Jerry to come back again into the conversation.
Okay. With all the thought provoking questions Jerry's going to ask
Yes,
me.
Yes, ma'am,
that's
Sudhaji.
what.
Namaste once
Jerry.
again.
No one.
Namaste. So, namaste once again, ma'am. How are you?
Namaste, Jerry.
You have survived the conversation with Itu.
I have to survive with you also, the
So you're
conversation.
not only a cancer survivor, you're a Itu survivor now.
Oh, gosh.
What makes you say that
Itu is
today?
such a lovely person. It's so comfortable talking to her.
Right. No, just
I'm wondering what makes him say that today.
I know.
But
See,
on
Itu,
a lighter
look
note,
at that.
yeah. So now both mother and daughter have
he's
survived
just
her.
trying to.
Bindya was on the program a few days back, so she's also survived her. So now you'll
Oh,
have
Oh
Lord.
my God.
y'all can start another uh, training program about how to survive people like Itu.
Oh, Lord.
Oh God.
So easy to survive. Such a
I have no
delight.
idea where is this coming
I'm just
from.
kidding. I'm just pulling your legs. So,
I know.
that was brilliant, and it's been a great journey from being a cancer care provider and a cancer caregiver. You have faced the challenge yourself, the cancer challenge yourself. What do you think? I mean, I know I still see a lot of people, especially in our geography, in our country, who attach a lot of stigma to cancer still. What do you think needs to be done to address that?
You see, we in CACI also, work on this, and in our awareness, we talk about the stigma and how to, that there should be no stigma, and people think, this is a disease which is infectious. Many people in the villages and all these areas, so they don't go anywhere near the patient. They don't want to do anything for the patient. So we have to convince them that this is not an infectious disease,
Right,
and you are not in any danger of getting any such disease.
right,
It's a non-communicable disease.
right. But the stigma is not only because of the infectious part, it's also related to the curse of God and
Yes,
nonsense like
people
that. What are
think,
your
yeah.
and
Yeah, that
it's
thought is
it,
very prevalent in India, especially, they
right,
think that, God, we've done something wrong and God is punishing us. And the stigma is there, and we are trying our best to remove it in different ways. And it is less now. Now there aren't very many people,
right,
a few lesser, I would say. Such a huge population, you cannot go all over and
right. But
remove the stigma.
but the
Yeah.
scarier part is when educated people also think it's a curse, and we live with
Yeah,
superstitions like that. So how, I mean,
because
and
they,
no, considering that cancer is not a the awareness of the disease now is pretty old, right? Where at least people in urban India and educated people shouldn't have felt that it's a curse and try to hide it and stuff like that, including breast cancer, for example. Breast cancer
yes,
is absolutely curable if it is
detected on
detected in
time.
early
Yeah,
stages,
yes.
and yet many people who know they have it, they don't disclose it because there is some kind of stigma attached to it. Still, I remember I was doing this talk at the Avon Cosmetics. I think it was Avon. One of Avon is the cosmetics company which sells it online,
Yes. I worked with them. I worked with
and they
them. Yeah.
wanted to do something on breast cancer, and they had aligned with iCongo, and then they invited me to talk at their huge gathering in Kolkata. And these were all women from urban India and semi-urban India who are their agents, and many of them are convent educated, and there was this entire, in my interactions with them, I got to know that a lot of them still think there's a stigma attached to it, and because of which, so my basic request to them in the talk was that It's not a curse. There is no stigma attached to it. If you anybody can get breast cancer. It's like any male can get prostate cancer. Anyone can get blood cancer. Anyone can get any kind of cancer. And just because you got breast cancer, it doesn't mean that some goddesses and devis are not smiling on you, some nonsense like that. So please, I mean, be candid about it, be
You
upfront
see,
about it.
once I got a phone call once from a lady who said that we've seen a girl for my son,
Mm,
and that girl's mother has had breast cancer. So
right,
we are very scared that should we get our son married to him or not? Will
right,
she also have the cancer?
right. A-
And
and including doctors who talk about it being hereditary and things like that, and that's because they're so uneducated. They're
it's a
doctors
small
simply
percentage.
because, yeah, they're doctors simply because they've gone to a medical school and have got a job in a five-star hospital. But the point is, I mean, today epigenetics shows you that you can completely change your markers. You can
Yes.
completely change your DNA. So just because your mother had it does not
Does not
necessarily
mean, yes,
mean
yes.
that the
That
daughters
is
will
that
have
is
it.
a, that is something people wrongly think about. That if the mother has it, yeah, the chances are there. Chances are there for anyone to get it, but a person like,
Absolutely.
if for example, I have it and my daughter, chances for her are will be little more than what they are for a normal lady.
Right.
Not that if I have cancer, my daughters will also have cancer.
Right. Yeah,
That's not the case
because
at all.
anybody can get it, and it's about whether it's hereditary or not. It's about understanding how we need to kind of do our regular checkups and stay
Exactly.
cautious. Now a lot of people don't
Mm.
take those precautions because they are even scared to go for a mammography, because I mean, hey, like,
Yes,
what will the
yes,
neighbors and the relatives say, that
yes, yes.
even if there
Even
is.
the husbands.
Yeah, and
Mm.
it's strange because, and like I said, I mean, if this was happening in rural India where everybody goes to get healed by all these pastors and sadgurus because they're touching the screen and curing your cancer, I can forgive those
Sad
people.
gurus.
No, there are too many sadgurus. There are people who touch you and they heal you. Nowadays they're
Mm.
touching computers and healing you. Like, I can just touch Sudaji's face on the computer, right? And that's why I said that you survived Itu. You didn't understand where you're coming from, because Itu was touching you, right? And she was curing you, and she could cure you so much that she could reverse your age, and you could
Ma
get
Itu.
you could
We
get
call her
back
Ma
into
Itu now, huh?
you could get back into the prime of youth again. So there are people like that. In fact, we keep sending out regular broadcasts saying that please be careful of all these sad gurus and pastors who are healing you by touching the computer screen, or who tell you that they can cure depression in 30 seconds, because
You
there's no
see, it's ignorance. It's ignorance which causes this, and ignorance kills.
right,
And awareness empowers the person.
right,
And early detection leads to cure. It
right,
saves a life.
right. So that is where we have to address all of this, because I mean, if we're not addressing
Yes.
this, then it is slowly but surely kind of going to affect people, because if you don't detect it in the early stages, then you can surely die of it, especially something like breast cancer. Now,
Yes, absolutely. This is what we talk to the women and we explain to them, not to
right,
hide it, not to think that it is some curse on them or something. They have
right,
to come out with it so that we can, lead them to proper cure and explain to them the
right.
pros and cons have to be explained to them.
Right, and we have several cancer survivors as our Rex Karmavir Global Fellows, you know.
I call them winners, Jerry.
Right. Yes, yes, they're
They are
victors. They're
winners. They
complete
are not survivors, they are
victors.
winners.
And that is what I had proposed to one of the woman-related CSR, and I just heard you speaking about being the part of the World CSR Forum. In a way, it is good that you didn't get to attend their session, because they just sit down there and discuss sweet bugger all. They don't. I'm sorry. I mean,
Jerry.
so you were fortunate to have missed it. No, I'm telling you, I mean, a lot of these UN meetings and all, they don't want to listen to
Yeah.
the truth. And I've attended several of them as advisory, and people like me become persona non grata over there, because everybody over there just sits down and nods their heads, right? Because they like being parts of some steering committee or panel. And
It's
I'm
a
like,
feather
let
in their caps.
yeah, let's address real issues, goats. I mean, let's stop being donkeys over here, just nodding our heads. In Goa, we call it ghantam boil. Ghanta boil means a buffalo with a bell around his neck. You know,
Okay.
they shake their head, so the bell also rings. So the buffalo has come. That's what you see in committees and forums mostly. That's why I now stopped being part of those forums, because it's a complete waste of time. So that's why I said you're very fortunate, yeah,
The
that you.
NGOs are doing great work in this field. You have
Sorry,
to admit, the NGOs are doing great work in this field.
some NGOs, not all.
Well,
Some like
I would
you.
say some are not, most of them are.
Okay, you
Most
you
of
you
them are. Now,
you
I have like
you
50
you
NGO
you you
groups,
you
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 know.
are an optimist, not a realist like me.
Well, you see, there are about 50 NGO groups in Cancer Care India
Right.
under their umbrella,
No, I'm
and
sure you do your due diligence.
we
So
all
all the
we all
50.
are doing
No, no,
very good work.
that's what I'm
We are
saying.
making very good work.
You would do your due diligence, so that the 50 which are there under your umbrella, I can vouch for. But then there are 50,000 out there.
Yes,
See,
that is.
if there were so many good ones, you would not have been restricted to 50, and we would have not been stuck on 300 NGOs for the past 15 years. We don't want to expand it. We would rather work with the small mom and pop NGOs, mom and pop shops, which are actually making a difference on the ground. Those are
Oh
the
yes.
stories which
Oh
go into my
yes.
Karmakari books. These
Oh
are not
great.
big brand NGOs. These are one man shows, one woman shows who are changing the world. A Subhashini Mistry who sells vegetables on the streets and raises the funds to build a huge hospital. Right?
Yes,
So it's
yes.
people like them.
I've read your book.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm
It's a
honored.
very
Yes.
good story. Very
And one of the
inspiring.
things I know that, Mia Kalpa, because I didn't take the conversation forward. In fact, I had spoken to Avon also, but I mean, the people over there are just focused on commercial, and CSR is also a part of the
What had you spoken to them
com
about?
business, about doing a book on cancer victors, right?
Okay.
Cancer
Winners.
people who have triumphed cancer, right?
Hmm.
Because a lot of people who get cancer also tend to kind of wither and dry up and pass without really fighting, because I think at a certain stage, at many levels, you also require
Mm-hmm.
to have a resilient mindset to fight cancer.
Oh
That's been
yes. Oh yes.
scientifically
Half the battle is
proven
won if you are resilient.
in
Half the
several
battle is
research
won.
studies now. In fact, there's an entire course in this very esteemed medical health center. I forget the name, but they have an entire course on positive mindset and how it is very important to fight diseases, especially cancer, which I have actually kind of included some of their research in my book on how to create and practice living with a positive mindset, which does not mean that think positive when everything is going on. Oh, I got cancer, but I've been thinking positive. No, it's about having a positive mindset that I can fight the cancer, because sometimes people live in a cuckoo's world. So especially for all the participants who are watching, I want to clarify for them that positive mindset does not mean that just by thinking positive cancer will go away. No, you have to go through the process. You have to understand how to make those lifestyle changes, and yes, you have to be resilient to fight it. So that's where we are. So we should take forward our conversation on a book of cancer winners, as you call them, right? so
Yes.
that
Yes.
so that most people who get cancer can be inspired by their stories, and not feel victims, and understand that they can be victorious over this disease, that this disease can be fought with the right mindset and the right lifestyle changes, maybe even learnings from epigenetics, because it teaches you to change your entire DNA and markers, right? So even if you think it is hereditary, you can actually kind of not only completely eliminate this, but you can also reverse this. Those are the small lessons we should have along with the stories. But when people read stories of people who have emerged victorious over cancer, then they can relate to that story. When they read a story of ordinary people like you and me, who have kind of battled and emerged victorious, then they can say that if I've got it, no problem, but cancer cannot get me, right? This is one quote which I read somewhere. It's always stayed in my mind, that I got cancer, but cancer cannot
Cancer
get me.
cannot get me. Yes.
It's a very powerful quote.
But it does make a lot of difference, your mindset. If you know I have cancer and I say, oh God, I'm dying, now I'm going to die and my life has come to an end and all that, that is not going to help me in any way. Even the medicines will not help me that way.
Absolutely.
And if I say no, I have to fight it. That's what I did. I said, no, I have to fight it. I
Right.
will put in my all. whatever
Right,
I can, and the
right,
rest I leave to God.
right. And absolutely, I mean that is
It
the whole.
helps a lot. It definitely helps your mindset, you know.
Right. And therein lies the entire concept of the positive mindset. You know, I'm just trying to find the name of that medical. It's a very popular center. The name is not coming to me. I'm growing old, surely. Uh, but yes, I will send you a message when I get that link. It's
Okay.
they were a very popular center, like Johns Hopkins. They also do a lot of work in understanding how the mind plays a very
In
pivot.
India.
No, 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 no. They're again in the US, yeah,
Mhm.
and how the mind plays a very pivotal role in fighting any disease, not just cancer, but any disease.
Yeah, any
So we
disease.
have
Yes.
so many people who are
Yes, yes, yes.
HIV survivors who are Rex Karmavir Global Fellows, and they are all living positive, natural lifestyles. You know, some of them have even got married after being HIV positive. So I think people need to get over this fear, get over this stigma. Diseases will keep happening. How we respond to the disease is completely a choice that is in our control. And I think that's the
Very
big
well
insight
said.
I want to
Very
leave
well said,
everyone with.
Jerry.
Yeah,
Very well said.
so that's what. So and that should be the spirit of the book. So
Yes.
so let's take that conversation forward and let's make it happen. Yours should be one of the stories in that.
Certainly, I would like to
Yes,
tell my story.
surely. And we can do it with your consortium of the good 50 NGOs.
Yes,
Yes,
yes, I will always say that they are the good 50 angels. They're doing tremendous work,
absolutely, absolutely. That's what.
selfless work they're doing.
Right,
And none of them are those rich NGOs, like you said, no?
right, right, right.
We have
Yeah,
to literally work hard to get funds to help the patients.
I call them the
They're not
cool.
the rich NGOs.
I call them the cool sounding NGOs.
Okay, there's
There,
this new, you coined a
no, no,
new
no. I wrote this article
cool
for business.
sounding NGOs. Okay.
I wrote this for this article for Business World way back in the first year when we started iCongo, 2005, 2006. Cool sounding NGOs like Cry, right?
How cool to cry.
Right. Cool. They're very cool sounding NGOs. World Vision, right? They have cool sounding slogans also, fighting poverty together, right? They've been fighting poverty for years now, but
Together. Yeah.
poverty is increasing. And they don't want it to decrease because they'll all be jobless then.
Yeah. But then also the population is increasing. They reach one stage and then the population goes so much
Right,
more.
right,
So how in our country, the biggest problem of
right.
resolving all these things is the population. So I think we
Absolutely.
should work harder on population control, the hardest on population control.
Right.
And that will also
We have Bill Gates working on that indirectly or directly. Yeah.
okay,
So,
okay,
so
okay.
that's what all his most of his vaccination programs are underlined for, I'm told. So let's wait and watch that. That's right. So pleasure, Sudarji. Sudarji, having a brilliant conversation with you as always. You take care of your health, and lovely as always to have a chat with you and discuss insights with you. And great work that you're doing. Keep doing the great work,
Thank you,
and
Jerry.
keep
Thank you so
emerging
much.
and
And
rising
I am
in
one of
victory.
your very big admirers, Jerry.
Yeah.
For the
Thank you.
last 14 years,
Thank you
I've
so
been
much.
watching you step by step.
Thank you so much. Thank you
And I
so much.
really admire you for the work you're doing. I
Thank you,
truly
ma'am.
admire you for that.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Means a lot. Thank you so much.
You are welcome.
Thank you. So have a great evening and enjoy yourself and take care. See you. Bye bye.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you, Sudhaji. Thank you,
Namaste,
Sudhaji.
Itu.
Wonderful catching up with
Namaste.
you.
Thank you, Itu.
Thank you so
It
much.
was
Namaste.
lovely talking to you. Lovely talking to both of
Absolutely our
you.
pleasure.
Thank you, Itu, and thank
Our
you, Sudha.
pleasure.
Thank you, Nishant. Have a good evening.
Thank
See you later, ma'am. And
Okay.
I will call you to discuss about the book later.
Sure, sure.
Okay,
Always
take
there.
care. See you.
Always there. Always
See you.
there.
Bye bye.
A pleasure for me.
you. Bye-bye. Thanks.
Bye bye.